Hey friends in YouTube, it's me the Doom Wizard and Una exploring the forest in the Catskills, upstate New York. It's August 21st. We're going to give a snapshot of the planet and where we stand currently. If you've been acquainted with this channel for a while, this is what I enjoy doing, is reporting on the latest metrics and findings of where we stand in our battle against climate change, or lack thereof. From climate and economy, we're going to start at the top, work our way down to the last and most important, perhaps, article I should mention today. The era of runaway heat records is here. It's not just that heat records are being set more often than before. Many of these temperature spikes are breaking local records by noticeably large margins. The climate currently behaves like a guy who would rather come and jump a meter farther than anyone ever before. You would think it's an athlete on steroids.
Wow. Wow, you really have all of this down. You ever lose an hour of sleep your whole life?
I gotta tell you, is that thing wrong? You're never gonna get me in the sack with that attitude. Crudité?
So how does August 2024 stack up? August 1st through the 17th marks the hottest first 17 days of August on record. Are we breaching tipping points that Climate Emergency Forum just spoke about? Yes, done and passed. Have you heard someone say that 1C warming equals 7% more atmospheric water vapor? Are you seeing news stories about floods almost every day? Not to mention here in Vermont, Quebec, Ontario, so on and so forth across the planet. Have you been flooded out? You can see what's going on right here, a huge gain in total column precipitable water. Lots of fancy words today. Much of the Arctic region is also getting wetter in the month of August as estimated by the GPCP. Exceptional temperatures in the Arctic this August 18th. Record Arctic heat wave forces closure of summer-only ski areas in Norway. Boo-hoo. Drones could soon be working together in swarms to put out flames. 2 wildfires raging through southern France have forced authorities to evacuate thousands of holiday makers. I'm going to run through these a bit more rapidly till we get to the end. Like I mentioned, spoiler, we're not going below 1.6 again. The craziness that you're experiencing and I in the world right now, that's the new normal. It's all downhill from here. It's going to get worse and crazier. Expect the unexpected. I'm just witnessing this and giving statistical figures. You guys clearly know what I'm doing, and gals. Okay, Bulgarian vegetable prices surge amid extreme heat. Mediterranean sea surface temperatures exceed. Land is becoming desert in Sicily's farming region. Heavy rains in Bosa. Seawater temperatures rebelling sardines, one of my favorite snacks. Equatorial Atlantic is cooling at record speed, and nobody knows why. Many mysteries to uncover over the coming years. No fewer than 200 houses were destroyed after 7 days of torrential rain in Nigeria. Okay, let's get to some facts. Nearly 68 million people reeling from drought in southern Africa. Aren't you glad you're not there? It's making the Middle East uninhabitable. Where are these people going to go? How is that going to test the infrastructure and politics of other surrounding nations? Time will tell. 2030 is fast approaching. Is it too soon? Thanks for hanging on board, guys. Hit the like. Let's get to 50. Heavy rains hit Pakistan's south. Mumbai's yesterday was the hottest August day in history. Don't look up. Of course, North Korea suffered from climate change's refusal of foreign aid is threatened by food shortages. What a coinky dink. Reservoirs in South Korea's Guangdong face severe water shortages. A heat wave persists. You see the weather extremes around the world, quite apparent right now if your eyes are even somewhat open. Okay, I wanted to get to a chart of the Gulf of Mexico. Are you okay? The heat is deep enough that there would be minimal upwelling after a hurricane. There's no cooling water available to upwell. Debbie did almost nothing to the record heat content, just splashed around in hot water. Look at that graph. This is an excess accumulation of heat content built up in the system, not being radiated back outwards into space, and instead performing the world's largest, most complex geophysical and chemical experiment we've ever known. Our civilization cannot hold on. And I know many of you are waiting for that I told you so moment. When will it turn life upside down, life in the US upside down? Perhaps sometime in the next 15 years. Is it not already causing billions of dollars of damage? But you're at the DNC protesting to have your voice heard, right? You know, to matter and count in democracy. Wrong. They're oligarchs who don't give a shit about your opinion. It's just opinion, like assholes. Everybody's got them, but they have 20,000 of them. We're not making any progress. Okay, it's just one evil versus the other. Pick your poison. Biden has opened up more drilling for fossil fuels than anyone else. So when Trumpers come up to you and say that he's the worst thing, agree with them. Yeah, because he, like I said, Biden's administration opened up more federal leases on land to drill for fossil fuels than anyone ever before. So, hoorah to the fight against. Don't even need to say it. As the world gets hotter, could trees migrate northwards to protect them? Maybe not fast enough, and the best case scenario for CC is now 1.6 of warming. As I mentioned earlier, if you hung on this far, humanity's goal of limiting global warming to 1.5 above, which has been a totemic and climate policy for the past decade, you know, conference of parties, meeting and partying and eating fine dining, and blah blah bullshit, how dare you, is now almost certainly out of reach. In fact, to say it's more likely than not, we won't even be able to limit warming to 1.6. And if you need a refresher, every 0.1 increment degree of average global warming above the previous measurement means exponentially more and much more disasters, extreme weather events, goes in the same token, and thus adverse effects on human and biological life on the planet. You get that, JP? The hopium is not there. Many can only imagine two systems we could have operated in. This one over here that's uses all life as expendable. We're very familiar, called capitalism. Excuse the rain coming in and out. I am in a rainforest. Or this other one where everyone is apparently equal but not really, quasi-communism socialists. You know, these were the only two systems we could have imagined with our puny little ape brain, and we were destined to fail. We were wired to not recognize long-term threats. We were never going to solve this crisis. It was destined when we discovered agricultural production on a large scale and the fossil fuels. Those two nails in the coffin, combined with our poor intellect and inability to exercise critical thinking, as I mentioned before, just nailed us to the stake. We're done. You're done.
You're done.
You're done.
Okay? I can use vulgar language, but I'm not. So this has been Worldwide Record Heat. I felt like producing this because these records they're just non-stop. It seems like every time I turn around, there's like some new critical voice or stating how effed we are, some new metric that doesn't make sense or doesn't fit into anything we've known before. And August will continue to tell us, as the coming months progress, how cooked we are. I mean, we can measure it with new methane measurement satellites, with fucking people getting together and generating some charts and graphs. You know, you can say NASA's a lie. They don't know what they're doing. I'm not an expert. I don't have any credentials, but I'm going to say these other professionals in their field are wrong. No. Let the professionals do their job. You can feel it, see it, experience it, walk outside your door. It is the era of rapid and runaway climate change. And if it's 1.6 now, just a few years, okay, you guys have imagination. I don't need to tell you this. But we have a looming crisis with the election. I'm not talking politics, but I want to say that if you plan to, I'm going to reiterate efficient in the fields channel, which I'm ambivalent about, somewhat conflicted. You ever thought of a time to get out of a densely populated area? Now is the fucking time to do it. Get out. I don't think it's too late. Because November is fast approaching. And yes, I'm preparing. I bought a full cord of wood. I'm fixing things up. But what am I really saying? The election and how the world's going to be around March, April, spring of next year. To see, reassess where we're at. Not just in terms of climate, political, and the world. We're witnessing the decline of civilization. We're fully in it, okay? We are committed. Thanks for hanging out with me. Use the donation link below if you want more content. I try to mix it up sometimes. And thanks for hanging out. I'll talk to you soon, Doomers. See you later.